Hello and welcome to another edition of AI Impact Talk with me, Thembekile Mrototo. Today we're focusing on AI and the law. If everything else is changing, are legal services in this country also moving in the direction of the inclusion or incorporation of more AI? And we're joined today to speak to us about this by Raphael Segal, who is the legal director, in fact, at Legal Interact. Raphael, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon, Thembekile, and nice to speak to you.
Speak to us about what it is that you do, because you wear several hats, right? You're co-founder at Legal Interact, but you also do a bunch of other things within the space.
Right. So I run Legal Interact. We're a business primarily focused on supplying practice management solutions to law firms. 5 years ago, we launched Contract Corridor. It's a contract lifecycle management solution. We've launched that to in-house counsel. And about 2 years ago, we launched initially My AI Lawyer, and it is a access to justice platform for the consumer, the South African consumer. So it's all completely AI enabled, and yeah, look forward to telling you a little bit about what we do in those areas.
And how do you use AI in law? Because it seems, off the face of it, as a bit of a foreign concept, especially if you've ever been to like a courtroom, for instance, where people are still very reliant on just the basic paper system, for instance.
Right. So I think the way we think about AI is we've put it into the following four areas. And the way we think about AI is AI has to enable productivity enhancement. So when we're thinking about what we're going to do with AI is how does it help us from a productivity perspective? The second thing we think about when we're talking about AI is and it's really good at this, is content generation. How does it help us generate content, and obviously legally compliant content? And then I think the third thing is how does it enable us to kind of manage content? We can talk about risk framework and comparison. So that would be the third kind of pillar in terms of how we think about it. And the fourth thing is customer experience, whether we talk about internal customer experience, internal to businesses, or we think about access to justice platform, so customer experience. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we think about it in those four ways. And then the primary opportunity that we think about when we're talking about AI is how does AI enable organizations to generate revenue? What does it really look like? Or what does AI do that allows organizations to stop revenue leakage? And so when we're thinking about it, that's the framework we try approach. When we're talking about AI. So if we start talking about legal related AI, we can unpack that a little bit if you
right.
You want to go.
And I want to pick up on the two questions, the issue of revenue and avoiding revenue leakage, and how you yourself have been able to answer that question within this context.
Brilliant. Okay, so Legal Interact's been around for a number of years, and to get to the answer of how do we get to revenue is the journey of reinvention we started to think about how are we gonna support our customers connect to their customers. And in doing that, we recognize that it's often corporates that are going to law firms for support. And so 5 years ago, we started building a contract management solution. And in doing the contract management solution, we're thinking about contract drafting, we're thinking about disputes, we're thinking about managing signed contracts. And so we started to build all of that out. And in doing that and creating an enablement platform, you need AI, because an AI actually helps with the productivity. Whilst we were going through that journey, we in South Africa, it's a special place, special country. We have this opportunity on Mandela Day to work with NGOs, and we were working with Matlabana. And in working with Matlabana, we came face to face with some of the questions that people on the ground who are facing gender-based violence experiences or consumer protection experiences, and we came face to face with actually seeing how are people on the street facing and getting access to information. And so through AI, we actually started to build out My AI Lawyer, which is a complete access to justice platform. And it was, for us, there is a potential revenue opportunity. We ran it for free since we launched it in last year. We ran it for free.
Right.
And with our partners, legal and tax, who are the human lawyers behind the AI lawyer. So it really is a co-pilot, and we can chat about that. But for us, there is a journey to revenue generation. We're in the traffic, and we could spot the gaps, and that's how we've come to My AI Lawyer as a complete commercial opportunity. And what's so exciting is we Legal Interact has just been given the global award from Microsoft as a partner of the year for 2024 for inclusion change maker for the work that we've done in AI. So
I just want to pick up on those two things. I'll talk about the award in a moment, but I want to pick up on My AI Lawyer. Does it work like a chatbot?
Exactly right. It's a chatbot. It's on WhatsApp. It is available. You can ask any question. All information is completely curated, and we can tell you a little bit about what we're curating in the background. But you can ask any question, and it'll roll out the answer to you. And once you've got the answer, you can then ask further questions. And if you get to a point where you need to speak to the human lawyer, then through WhatsApp, it'll ask you, do you want to speak to the human lawyer, or are you satisfied? If you say I'm satisfied, it'll actually email you the curated answer. If you want to speak to the human lawyer, it will actually introduce you to the legal and tax human lawyer, and it's a human in the loop solution.
Is the bot better than an actual lawyer?
So that's a great question, and I think there are two parts to the question. There isn't any stat that says a human lawyer is always going to be right. We know when AI gets it wrong because everyone loves it when AI gets it wrong. When AI gets it wrong, what we are able to do is we're able to fix it. And so, and through feedback, we can fix it. But Thembekile, we've had 80,000 questions from the South African public through this platform. And 70% of these questions that are being asked, they don't need to go to the human lawyer at Legal and Tax. So we're going in the right direction. It's not fully formed. We're out of the toddler stage, but this is a dream, and we're seeing it come to reality.
Is it a step, though, Raphael, to making legal services more accessible, right? Because there is a broader conversation in this country about access to legal services and how that can also mean that if it's not accessible to all, if good quality legal advice, for instance, is not available to all, there is a large section of a population in a country like South Africa that ultimately is denied a fair shot at justice, realistically.
So you spot on, and our partners, and it's not just Legal Interactive, actually been what started out as a passion project has actually materially changed our own mission in terms of bringing this access to justice platform. But our partners like Legal and Tax, whose essence is to be a partner or a companion to South African public, have been absolutely certain or focused on us making sure that there's clear curated content that speaks to the man in the street. And our partners through Microsoft have been they've been the ones who've actually further said to us, guys, this is so materially important. Democratizing this and making it available to the South African public is materially valuable. Now, your first point was about going to court. Actually, if we can get people information, if we can explain it to them, if we can help them to find a way to mediate, to negotiate, to collaborate, maybe court can be the last resort. Maybe arbitration or alternative dispute resolutions will be the way to go. And we think that these platforms are going to be materially valuable in the future.
Does My AI Lawyer, you said we can, for example, I could go on to the bot and be able to ask a question, get help or guidance up until the stage where I've got the option perhaps to speak directly to a person, right, an actual lawyer. Does it matter the sort of case that one may be dealing with, be it criminal, civil, etc.?
Not at all. So we continuously curating content into the actual platform. I can give the number out to you just now if you'd like. But we for example, we have curated the South African Constitution, intellectual property, banking and finance, employment, commercial, criminal, family, property, and we continuously curate it. So every week we're curating new content into it. On a weekly basis, we go evaluate the questions and we evaluate the answers to see that we're really happy with them, and to make sure that the actual answers are not technical in nature, but that they actually are answers for the man in the street. So you can go in there and there's 4 questions for free today. People want to go, I'll give you the WhatsApp number, you can share it out. Or you can go myiLawyer.tech. It's the platforms there on WhatsApp, and you can use it. And the reason we went with WhatsApp was,
Right.
there were three things we wanted to do when we talk about My AI Lawyer. Is first off, we wanted to make sure that 94% of South Africans who are hitting the internet do have WhatsApp. So we wanted to make sure that the platform they could ask their questions in, they would have a platform they didn't need training in. So that was the first thing. Second thing is make sure that the content we're providing is curated and it's all available. And thirdly, keep that platform up and make sure it's safe and secure. And for us, that's Azure, because obviously we're really focused on Microsoft. They give us great Azure AI tools, and we fully integrate it. So that's a lot of the work we've been doing.
Right. I'd like you to please give out that number that you were saying you're going to give out, but also in that, let me ask you how the role of AI and the reliance thereon has perhaps changed. I wonder if it has changed what's required from a lawyer from a skill set perspective. Are you finding you also have now to be a bit of a tech boffin in order to survive?
So we're finding that we've got lots of lawyers in the business, and they're fantastic. They're doing a great job, and they're becoming not just prompt engineers or contract analysts. They're actually adding real value to how we think about solving these problems. I think lawyers of the future are going to have some skills that they're going to need to have by default, which will not be just about the law. It will actually be, what was AI not going to bring? It's not going to bring empathy. It's not going to bring creativity. It's not going to bring some of the problem-solving skills. So I think, will they need tech skills? Absolutely. Have the law firms modified to that point? Not quite. Have the schools that are teaching law modified to that? Not quite. But we've got lots of wonderful young people hitting the road, and they're coming. No one needs training on WhatsApp. That's why we went with that route. Lawyers at these legal service providers who are answering questions for man in the street, they are working hand in hand with our AI lawyer. It's a co-pilot. It's not there to replace. It's there to partner with you. So
it's a collaboration tool, right?
Without a doubt.
And just on that, I mean, we touched on the level or perhaps new skill set that lawyers will be required to have, right? And yes, it's an age-old problem with technology and the changing world of work, where you find often what is taught academically is outpaced by what's going on outside the lecture halls. But how does the legal fraternity answer the ethical questions? Because with AI have been these multiple ethical questions in terms of what is safe, what is not, what does it mean for accountability in terms of what's generated and dispensed to the end user, regardless of the sector.
So, I mean, the first thing when anyone speaks about AI and we talk about, we say, what's the difference between your AI and someone else's AI? Well, then we start talking about all this hallucinations. So I think hallucinations are something we live with today, but AI, if we think about it, with these large language models do one thing, and that is they guess what the next word is after the last word. That's like what they do. So hallucinations, actually what they're good at, they generate text. So we need to understand that. The second thing is when we talk about ethical AI, and we talk about thinking about how to make sure that what we're presenting is relevant and real. You have to have some form of transparency. You have to know which platform you are. You have to know that they're good actors. You have to know that the guardrails are up and we're talking about fair and ethical AI. And then you're going to speak, about the big organizations that support you.
Mm.
How do we Africanize our content? That's a massive job. And when you go to ChatGPT today and you ask what's the minimum wage, it's pot luck what you're going to get. You might get it depending on the time and when it is in the year. You've got to make sure that whoever you're getting that data from, whoever's providing it, they're curating the information that you need for the answers you need. It's not autopilot. If you're going to put yourself on autopilot, the judge is going to have you, and everyone else is going to have you. But it's not autopilot.
But there's an opportunity in there, is it not? And it's an opportunity that people like you have spotted and seized upon, where we need South African innovators in the space precisely to answer our very unique questions, not least of which ones that apply, for example, to the fact that we're a country where we speak 11 official languages. People come from multiple social backgrounds and often need information in a way that is accessible to them.
Yeah. I mean, there are some real wonderful startups and innovators in South Africa who are doing wonderful work in creating large language models that are language agnostic and specifically focused on some South African languages. Comes to mind, and I'll give a shout out if I can, to Lalapa, who are doing some great work in that area. And it's quite fascinating because they are focused on this. They focused on the language problem, and then that allows developers like ourselves to automatically integrate and bring this language to the front end. The language, I think, the language, is one part of it, and then it really is how do we curate this business. But when you think about AI and what's going to drive AI in the future, you think about in the legal profession, you spoke about the very first thing was what's happening in courts. Well, they're going to take a long time to change. And then what's happening in law firms, they possibly also going to take a while to change. But I tell you what's not going to take a long time to change is the in-house legal team, because they got to be operationally effective and they got to start delivering value for the business. So they're going to definitely be looking for how do I be more productive? How do I reduce risks? Where's the revenue opportunities? How do I stop leakage? And if you want to get to who's really AI enabled, it's the South African consumer. They're unbelievable.
That's good to hear. For the naysayers then, are there examples that we can look to where we can say this is how AI has played a credible role in terms of what's happening in law in this country or even around the world, actually? So,
I mean, access to justice is not a South African problem. It's a global problem. I think from what we've seen, we've opened it up. We haven't gone full stream on My AI Lawyer yet. We've had 80,000 questions pass through. The 80,000 questions have been everything from labor to matrimonial to intellectual property so we have a definite sense of the need from the consumer. In saying that, I think Microsoft, recognizing the work we've done, have said to us, guys, in terms of creating a platform like an access to justice platform to award Legal Interact a global Partner of the Year award, to me that says they deeply understand the value of creating an access to justice platform. I think that's the one side. I think
speak to me. Apologies, Raphael. I wanted to speak about the value of that recognition when a giant like Microsoft sees the work that you're doing and gives you this recognition, and what it then does for your ability to sort of push on, keep going.
It's infectious. I think anyone who's an entrepreneur, anyone who's building in a business, understands just how hard it is to get going, to build something which has such a profound effect on the South African public, where I think, contributing in the sense of contributing to a just society, I don't know if there could be anything more valuable, because people who are building a better world, it is as if they are building the world themselves. So for us, when they give us that kind of sense, it is inspiring for not only the developers who are building the product, not only the lawyers who are curating it, not only the support people who are speaking to the man in the street, but it's an incredible opportunity and incredible recognition that actually fills us with purpose. So for us, it's like we think to ourselves, well, this is definitely something we're going to get right in South Africa, and then in Africa, because it's a way we can leapfrog it forward. And we know that one of the pillars of making a great society is a just society. So for us, that like seeing that recognition is it's fundamentally changing our own sense of purpose. Not in our company, not in our community, not in our province, but actually in our country.
What do you say then to some of your colleagues who are still skeptical about adapting or introducing some of the ways in which AI is able perhaps to improve not just the functioning of their businesses, but also the broader goal, right, of making sure that it's a system, a legal system that works for all in this country?
It's a difficult answer to give. I think that there is a sense of, for those who don't believe that we will have a world where it will be digital when you want it and human when you need it, you need to start using it. And so if we think about AI, it can be the best of everything in your pocket. The best trainer, the best teacher, the best medical support, the best legal support, the best. And so if we think about it as the co-pilot, I think we really are heading into an exciting time where everyone can be enabled. And the truth is that there's no better place than South Africa and the African continent that can leapfrog forward with this kind of technology.
Let's talk about that, why it is that our country, South Africa, and the rest of the continent is, in fact, so ripe for the sort of advancement that we're seeing coming.
Because I think we're entrepreneurs at heart. I think we're innovators. We understand hardships, and we've got the ability to persevere and break through. No one is going to do any of that groundbreaking work for us. We have to go and do it. So I think that's one part of it. I think the other side of it is we don't have this massive legacy of historical, technical landscapes that we've kind of got to work through. I think we can leapfrog forward, and we don't have to worry about a whole lot of stuff that we've got to go and rebuild the wheel. We can learn from what's available. I think also that the challenges we have to overcome, the electrical challenges, the internet challenges, we have a little bit of a different world that we live in, and I think that needs to be nuanced and infused with the African experience and understanding of how this technology can enable.
And to what extent do those factors, i.e. access to broadband, etc., is that working against our ability to move at a faster rate in the right direction on the issue of law and AI?
So I don't think so. I mean, I think that, again, the naysayers are going to say, you can't trust the data. The naysayers are going to say the bandwidth doesn't work. The naysayers are going to say that it's not always up, it's not secure, they're bad actors. I'm saying, well, there's all of that. That's just people. Never mind, this isn't an AI problem, this is people problem. So I'm saying, create the platform, put it on a great secure network like Azure, make sure that you're fixated on great content, curate it, make it simple, make it understandable, like we're doing. Make sure that it's up all the time, and make sure that it's on a platform that people don't have to go to the internet, and that becomes a whole different. Give it to them on a tool that they can use and they can experience. And I think that's one part of it. I think the other part of it is we have to start thinking about what it is that the law firms are doing and how they can create an enablement for their clients, whether that's drafting contracts or whether that's reviewing contracts or whether that's dealing with mergers and acquisitions. How do we enable them with AI-enabled tools to make it easier and possibly more affordable to some extent.
And that's a great point then to talk to you about where you, as Legal Interact, want to move to, your goals perhaps for both the short and the longer term in this space, because you've already started, you're using AI in so many interesting ways. How much more are you looking to do?
So from our perspective, we start to think about things like, we want to serve both our in-house counsel, which is what we would say corporate legal teams or corporate counsel, and we want to also serve law firms. And so when we think about the kinds of tool sets we want to give them, is the ability to, if we think about a contract to review, getting the business to be able to send that contract through a self-service form, through a front end to the legal team, being able to provide that first draft of review, automatically reviewing the contract, saying, this is what this contract is about, summarizing the contract, extracting the terms of the contract, running the contract through the risk portfolio, the risk structure that organization's worried about. So that we give the law firm or we give the in-house team a risk review bundle. We do see ourselves being able to have a tool where you can ask questions of your contract. You could say, tell me contracts that are expiring, tell me contracts that need to be renewed, tell me contracts where I get early payment discounts, tell me which people have been FICA'd. That's always a good one. Tell me which people have the KYC document. And you don't have to sit in a system. It's just like you can go into your phone through WhatsApp and ask the question and the system responds to you. This is not far-fetched. I think we're there or thereabouts.
Raphael Segal, your passion is infectious. Really good to speak to you, Raphael Segal, a co-founder at Legal Interact. Great to have you on AI Impact Talk today. Thank you.